What would you do if I broke in your house?
Now, hold on just a minute, Skittles. I live down here in the South, and we protect ourselves with pit bulls and pew-pews. And the real question is, which one of them's going to get you first? Because I be diddly-dad-burn. We get up too early, stay up too late, and work too damn hard for our to be letting somebody who looks like they tasted the rainbow come in and take our stuff. No, honey. Down here, we just soon send your soul to Jesus and let him sort it out. You know what I mean? This is the way I see it. If you're ever skipping your happy down here on the streets in the South and you get this hair up your to come into one of our houses, I suggest you do one of two things, baby. You hit your knees and you start praying to the Lord because you fixing to meet him. Or you just keep skipping your happy until you get out of town. Now, I personally think the latter of the two choices is the better choice, but bless your heart. You can choose either one you like. Just, baby, choose wisely, okay? Have a nice day.
Yeah, Skittles, he's in trouble. And that's the real political divide in this country right now, perfectly represented. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely wild and crazy news that just seems to be getting more and more wild, especially when it comes to the latest geopolitical updates, as of course there are concerning developments happening in Japan, in Ukraine, in the Middle East, as of course Poland has also declared that they are readying up their troops and potentially soon might be fighting in Ukraine. Lots of really crazy stuff, as of course it doesn't get crazier than the Libertarian political party, as they now have their official candidate that they are running with, and it's not the Paul that you expected it to be. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Every new subscriber means a new treat for Atlas, as of course the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast represents the ever so real diverse type of thinking here represented in the United States, as the Southerners of this country don't play. Now, I don't know who this charismatic, very eloquent woman is, but if you do, please let me know so we could attribute her correctly and share her social media in the description down below so we could find out more of our hot takes. As I think this original clip was posted by Motivation House, but who's this woman? I don't know. Please let me know, and we will attribute her correctly so we could all enjoy her Southern charm together. This says the opposite of the people from the South are the people from California that, of course, ruin everything good and holy. As we wanted to remind everyone that California spent $11 billion to build less than 1/3 of a mile of a high-speed rail that literally goes to nowhere, and nobody knows where all the money went. As of course, they also pour in billions of dollars towards the homelessness problem that only keeps to breed and grow the homelessness in the state, along with the lawlessness and violence as recently seen as a major celebrity actor was shot and gunned down by criminals who were trying to steal his catalytic converter, as General Hospital star Johnny Wachter lost his life to car thieves in a state with an ever so progressive district attorney and prosecution system that literally is spurring on lawlessness while punishing people for the most idiotic, innocent actions like collecting seashells and fining families $80,000 for. And with more government, we have, of course, more waste, more money that is printed out of thin air that, of course, largely devalues your purchasing power. As Ron Paul yesterday at the Libertarian National Convention came out and said that the U.S. dollar will be rejected as the world reserve currency in the next economic crisis that could come at any moment, at any time. This says the latest technological advancements and artificial intelligence is essentially coming for everyone, including math nerds. This, according to Peter Thiel, that is warning that within 3 to 5 years, AI models will be able to solve all the U.S. math Olympiad problems that will shift things quite a bit in Silicon Valley, that will, quote, rebalance our society. This coming from a libertarian thinker, as the Libertarian Party is the party of the Pauls, specifically Ron Paul, Rand Paul, and now influenced by RuPaul, as the latest nomination of their presidential candidate is someone who looks like a very woke leftist social justice warrior that previously has argued about changing the gender of children, called for strict health regulations, called for open borders, called for men to be in women's sports. As one libertarian on social media writes, quote, "I wanted Ron Paul and instead got RuPaul." As a lot of libertarians today are reporting that they're feeling disenfranchised with the latest nomination from the Libertarian Party, and that they probably will be voting for Donald Trump in this upcoming presidential election, a man who has addressed the Libertarian political party and has told them that he is willing to have libertarians in his cabinet. He's willing to deregulate Bitcoin, to free Ross Ulbricht, and institute a lot of other libertarian policies that, of course, speak to the larger ethos of decentralizing power. Now, will he do it? That's another question. But it's fair to say with the latest pick from the Libertarians that he absolutely has a lot of support from them now. And that 3% that they will garner probably in the general election will most likely be going to him, highlighting a very interesting future of all of that, as we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more on LukeUnfiltered.com for a special broadcast just for members right after this one, as of course we have a lot of stuff to discuss, especially when it comes to the divide and conquer agenda, Lady Gaga, and how to be happy. We're going to be talking about that, as I will be giving you my personal happy hacks on today's members video, as we also did a really cool, incredible nature hike recently, which I'm going to talk about, share pictures with later on today, that of course we will be doing all over the United States. And to help build this larger kind of culture of going out there, hiking, touching grass, meeting people, connecting people, having larger social gatherings, go to LukeUnfiltered.com, sign up, and your memberships help spur that on. As you also get the ability as members to call into our live show, as we did a lot of incredible shows during the Libertarian National Convention. We had Dave Smith, we have Josie the Redheaded Libertarian, we had Spike Cohen, we had Julian Assange's brother on, we had Martha Bueno. We had so many incredible people in studio with us, and you guys were able to talk to them. You guys were able to be a part of the show, all by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. As of course, we're going to be doing 2-hour live podcasts here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You guys get to participate in all of that just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com, and I will see you there right after this broadcast. As of course, we are still not done here with our main focus of discussion, and that is the larger global conflict that is brewing and looks like could be erupting at any moment and time, as we have the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, coming out and saying, quote, "Europe is preparing to start a war with Russia." And it's not just his warning, it's all the other things that are happening behind the scenes that are absolutely worrying and concerning, as Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is set to bring back compulsory national service for all 18-year-olds in the United Kingdom, essentially a military draft, as tensions between Russia and Europe, including the United Kingdom, are rising at an all-time high, as we also found out recently that the Russian government is producing artillery shells 5 times faster than Ukraine and NATO allies, with about a quarter of the cost to produce them, as a lot of people are reporting that Russia is winning the logistics of this war, as the situation keeps escalating and becoming more tumultuous inside of Ukraine. This, as we are even getting reports today that Poland is considering deploying their troops into Ukraine to fight the Russians if the Russians continue to make significant, considerable gains inside of that country, as the Polish foreign minister came out and warned that if Russia uses nuclear weapons, the United States would destroy all Russian positions in Ukraine instantly, as there's even some tough consideration and talks about airspace being closed down over Western Ukraine, which NATO would enforce and essentially attack all Russian personnel and aircraft if they would, quote, violate another red line that they are considering arbitrarily adding here that would lead us towards a total global war. This, as Russia is warning Poland with a nuclear dust cloud As for the first time in a long time, we have seen Russian military personnel start to muster up inside of Belarus as the Polish soldiers keep amassing on the Belarusian border as the situation becomes unsafe for everyone inside of that territory, including now even the territory of Japan, as we're getting news reports that North Korea just fired missiles. This after just a few days ago, Vladimir Putin has met with the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, as many people now speculate that there was a larger deal being made with the Chinese, with the North Koreans, in a coordinated way to combat more Western U.S.-dominated forces by working together in escalating tensions and, of course, spreading thin American influence and resources. As Sky News is reporting that the North Koreans have just fired a missile at Japan, as there is a J alert warning system that has been activated, as Japanese TV just published a video of a missile that exploded in the air over Japan that was fired by North Korea. All of this as in China, we are getting news reports of them preparing a large military fleet to invade Taiwan, according to the Telegraph, as they are reporting an armada of ferries that are being organized right now to potentially go to Taiwan, as China has had its largest round of military exercises already encircling Taiwan. And as we know from history, a lot of military exercises usually go hot and become full-on global conflicts, as of course military exercises are usually used as an excuse for cover for larger, more aggressive military actions, as the Chinese have put out their largest fleet of PLA naval and coastal guard that are practicing a blockade of Taiwan, as they are expected soon to get a lot of advanced U.S. military hardware, as the situation there becomes more tense by the day, as well as the situation in the Middle East, as today we are finding out that Egyptian soldiers were in of an exchange of fire with Israeli soldiers that, according to the latest reports, has taken the lives of 4 Egyptian soldiers. This according to Egyptian sources that are now claiming that Israeli forces opened fire on them, as Israel just admitted that it bombed a Rafah camp with civilians that has had a civilian toll on the people inside of that region, as Benjamin Netanyahu just came out and said that the strike is, quote, a tragic incident that was done by his government and military forces that are now attacking Rafah, pissing off a vast majority of the countries in the Middle East. This as the Saudi Crown Prince has just announced that he will have his first trip ever to Iran, as, of course, an alliance between Iran and Saudi Arabia would shift the balance of power, specifically against Israel, as the situation there also looks very unstable, to say the least. Now, with the United States, with Joe Biden and Donald Trump all agreeing to give Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel more of our money recently, they essentially, as I've said and documented, put a down payment on the future of war in these larger areas. And that's exactly what we're seeing, as, of course, in those areas that the United States, through your tax dollars, is now financing the military-industrial complex in, there are larger escalations that are unfolding to dangerous grand proportions, as, of course, we are dealing with a situation that at any moment, at any time, one of those situations could spark off a global larger conflict, because if tensions rise in Ukraine, this is a perfect situation for China to take Taiwan. This is a perfect situation for other Middle Eastern countries to take advantage of an ever so spread out U.S. military influence and then go after Israel. This is a perfect situation for Israel to also expand their conflict. And this is, in my opinion, a recipe for disaster and lunacy and top-notch idiocracy at its highest point, as human life is being literally wasted away. For what? And if you agree with me, share this video with your friends and family members, because the situation is ridiculous. The situation is tumultuous, and sure as hell going to get a lot more tumultuous from here. And it's not a good thing. I got a podcast episode coming on later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and this is why. I love you guys. One more video coming your way on LukeUnfiltered.com. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe, click the notification button, all here on youtube.com/wearechange. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more.